Tolkien copycats have spread like the pandemic. Even worlds don't outright copy, Middle-earth and D&D often lack the depth, coherence, and soul that make epic worlds unforgettable. So what's the secret to building a fantasy world that doesn't feel like a knockoff from the swap meet? When a concept or an object is introduced into an environment, that environment changes. An example we see all the time in our own world is how the introduction of a foreign plant species will invade and often overtake native plants. This disrupts food chain, economies, and so much more. Another, less environmental, real-world example is generative AI. It has flooded the internet with really weird media. It's writing essays for students. People are using it in place of therapy. It's changed the words we use in our everyday conversation. It's even had an effect on our food with AI recipes, nutrition guides, and people trying to recreate AI-generated pictures of crazy cakes. It's even changed how humans interact with each other. Okay guys, I have a secret to tell you. I have a friend who uses AI to write text messages. I'm not sure why they do it, but it feels extremely ingenuine. And if you're watching this, anonymous friend, well, now you know, I guess. Oddly enough, generative AI, a writer's worst fear, is also the perfect example for how to world build believably. For a lot of us, generative AI felt like someone threw a giant boulder into our pond. As the world builder, you're the one throwing this metaphorical stone into your world, and you need to sit back and watch the ripples and see how this new idea will permeate all areas of society. The reason The Lord of the Rings works so well and everyone copies it is because Tolkien did just that. Despite calling his world Middle-earth, it is nothing like Earth. The forests are alive and dangerous. There is power that corrupts. The different cultures and classes all feel unique. And while we, the reader, may not know the rocks he threw into the pond, we can see the ripples. There's a cohesion to Middle-earth that many fantasy worlds lack. My favorite example is the living forests. In Fellowship, this concept is established, and it's also set up that Saruman is chopping down the forest to fuel his army. In the Two Towers, the Ents are introduced and end up taking Saruman down. I'm sure there's some deeper lore about the Ents in the Silmarillion, but it's not needed for us, the reader, to understand the story at play. We are given the pieces that we need not only to understand the story, but also to experience it. Most of what we learn about the forest and the Ents is through the eyes of the hobbits. So instead of lengthy lore dumps, the story includes the hobbits' personal reactions and connections to these pieces of the world. So while your world building may go deeper into how the elements of your world came to be, what really matters is that we, the reader, see cohesion and connection and experience it through the eyes of the characters. Another phenomenal example of world building cohesion is the magic in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Many worlds with elemental magic will have a huge number of elements, including water, earth, fire, air, grass, fairy, steel, dark, ghost, poison, electric, ice, fighting, rock, flying, psychic, bug, dragon. Avatar doesn't need all of these different elements. It has 4, and what it does with those 4 is incredible. Through waterbending, it has grass, ice, and water. Ground, rock, and steel are all covered through earthbending. Firebenders can bend electricity and fire, and dragons breathe fire. Airbenders can fly, fart, and connect with the spiritual realm, and in my humble opinion, the spirit realm covers dark, ghost, and fairy. Non-benders are normal type. Between waterbending, firebending, and airbending, I think we have poison covered, and between bloodbending, combustion bending, and projecting into the spirit world, we have psychic covered. Then finally, all 4 types of bending can be used to fight. So, I guess all Avatar is really missing is bug bending. Avatar doesn't need more. It can do so much with the pieces it's already built. And that ability is what separates the copycats from the Tolkiens. I gave 2 examples of deep, unique worlds, but I want to hear from you. Comment below, what's the most immersive fantasy world you've ever read or written? So let's say my world has dragons. Great. Now what? How does the existence of dragons affect the rest of the world? Let's start with conlang. In our dragon world, we might see locations named after infamous dragons. Phrases like burn to a crisp might be insults. You blithering at it, you burn to the crisp or what? We might see concepts form about dragon hunting that differentiate the experience as different from hunting a deer or a bird. Let's look at belief systems, which could manifest as religions or cults or simply foundations for culture. In our dragon world, I'm seeing groups who scavenge dragon bones and use them to build their homes. They hold dragon bones as a blessing or as something to hold sacred. Maybe there is another group who attempts to emulate dragons' ferocious and destructive power. And a third group who are filled with the fear of God, or in this case, the fear of dragon. How might dragons shape society? Maybe dragon-free lands are seen as safe and become major points of conflict between nations. Then I'm guessing at some point society would swing the other way and want to stay away from such contentious zones, preferring to face a dragon than a power-hungry tyrant. What about food? I'm thinking that humans may stay away from big game, preferring not to compete with the dragons, and potentially be more reliant on seafood. A dragon steak would likely be extremely expensive and reserved for royalty who have the gall to hire someone to attempt the task of slaying a dragon. Speaking of humans, did I speak of humans? Is this world just humans or dragons? It definitely could have dragonlings, half dragon, half humans. I could also see there being a second type of dragon that branched off at some point, but that now is vastly different, like a dragon chicken. Or maybe the dragon bone people have figured out a ritual to use a dragon's bone to reanimate a dragon, so we could have undead dragons as well. What about arts and crafts? Dragons have hobbies, right? Of course they do. Dragons have invented fire trumpets in their caves and throw massive ragers. What about professions? Dragon World has a profession focused on dragon territory management. It's a very old profession with deep traditions. Their reports help keep their villages safe. They probably have an intense need for fire marshals as well. And what about technology? A technology that might exist in Dragon World is flame-resistant clothing, maybe even lotions or a technology to turn dragon fire into renewable energy. Worlds are complex, and world building can be a rabbit hole or a hobbit hole or a dragon cave. Going down that rabbit hole can be fun, but it can also be overwhelming. I've got many more videos coming your way, so hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more fun or stress. That can't be what I wrote. Wow, I'm bad at this. Airbenders can fly, fart, and connect with the spiritual... You blithering idiot! You burnt to the crisp or what?